Hey everyone, welcome to Locked On Lakers for Friday. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky, LeBron James. Is he coming back sooner rather than later? We'll explain next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday. No matter how, where you get your podcast, this one's always going to be free, never behind a paywall. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where over 37,000 subscribers to the channel are all wondering, Andy, when LeBron James is going to be back. The Lakers releasing some information in that about that on the Thursday afternoon. And so we'll explain it all there. And of course, the Lakers heading out onto the road for a big road trip that has some winnable games on it. A chance for the Lakers to improve their record a little bit more. So in this positive early season. Before we get started, I want to let people know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, Andy, you get $300 in bonus, $300 in bonus bets. To use across the app, head to FanDuel.com to get started. So the Lakers kind of gave everyone a little bit of like a morning jolt with some releasing some medical information on LeBron James. He has resumed basketball activities, full contact. So he's out there doing stuff, and he'll be evaluated again in 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, and this lines up with some reporting from Shams Charania and Dave McMenamin that he's moving into live 5-on-5 reps. There's a possibility that while the Lakers are on this road trip, which LeBron will not be accompanying them on, which makes sense because if he's looking to ramp up, make rehab harder, get back on the court, there's no point to getting off and on planes where he will not be able to do that on a regular basis. There's no reason for him to disrupt any type of routines just to travel for games that he's not going to be participating in. But there's a chance that he might be actually working out some with the G League affiliate, the South Bay Lakers, just to have the full court access and the ability to get up and down. But since he's not going to be with the team, the earliest LeBron could be back would be November 18th after the 5-game road trip. The first home game, it would be against the Utah Jazz, which always feels like a nice soft opening for anybody returning from an injury. It's a nice way to ease your way back in before you start playing NBA teams. So this could work out really well for LeBron.
It's like when, you know, your number one ranked college football team schedules North Carolina A&T. When the Jazz actually just got a piece of bad news with Walker Kessler being out for the season, shoulder injury. So
yeah, we're gonna have to put those fake Laker trades on hold for at least a year.
Yeah, they were gonna. Well, I mean, look, we're already into early November. I mean, they were gonna start pulling the plug on things in a couple weeks anyway. So who knows how much Kessler would have ended up playing. You can't start your tank too early when you're the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, but you still could have traded him. Now, let's just say his trade value has been lowered.
That's true. I think, he's doing basketball activities. He's all these other things. Why, 1 to 2 weeks for reevaluation again before you would then clear him to playing games? It's important to remember LeBron did not have a training camp, and so this time essentially serves as that. And you certainly don't want to rush the guy back with zero training camp and all these other things as if he was not in his 40s. So the Lakers, I think, rightly being careful with LeBron, and they have a little more space to do that because they're 7-2, because they've won 7 of 9 without him. They've won 3 of the 4 games they played without Luka. They've won without Austin. They keep just playing really well.
They've won without all 3 of them.
Yes. they're playing really well, and they're affording themselves a little bit of space and cushion, whether it's to get LeBron on the floor, whether it's to be a little bit more careful with Austin coming back from that groin problem, whatever it is, the Lakers are giving themselves some cushion by playing as well as they are.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful in terms of reducing any pressure on LeBron to try to get himself back quicker than he really should, given all of the context, or even somebody like Austin to push that groin injury where it could, hopefully this won't be the case regardless, but if you try to get him back quicker than he really should, you could start turning this into a recurring groin injury. And groins are a tricky thing to try to treat. They can flare up at any moment. It's very easy to all of a sudden get hit with a recurrence. So especially if you have the luxury of now being I think in the minds of many, a surprise 2 seed, you afford yourself, that luxury and just it's ironic because the Lakers have been doing anything but relaxing on the court. I mean, they've been playing their asses off, I would say, in 8 of the 9 games they played this year. The opener at this point, you just have to flush that and put in the rearview mirror. But the other 8 of the 9 games they've played extremely hard. It allows them, ironically, to relax a bit in the way this is going to be handled. In the meantime, too, I know that this is an issue because I was filling in for John Ireland on Mason and Ireland today, 710 ESPN. We had callers about it. I've seen comments in the live shows that we do in the comments section for YouTube. People wondering how LeBron's return is going to affect the team. How are they going to incorporate him? How are they going to incorporate the usage for LeBron in the eye of many, the ego of LeBron, like the LeBron of it all? And I think also the 7-2 record makes it easier to make it more of an organic re-entry, but also too, I don't expect, there might be hiccups simply because it's been a while since these 3 guys have played together. There's a few new faces. It's always going to be a little bit clunky when you bring somebody back into the mix. But I don't picture it being an issue of ego or LeBron wanting to re-announce his presence in a way that feels like bigfooting the team, because I think he is smart enough to realize, A, the value of having teammates that can help ease the burden on him at his age, but also if LeBron starts playing and they start losing, even if it has quite literally nothing to do with LeBron, if you're really watching the game, he's going to take the blame, and he's smart enough to realize it.
Well, I guess. Look, if he starts playing, the only reason my first reaction to your question, what is the impact of, what's the impact of me when LeBron comes back? It's like, well, they're going to be better. that's
no argument.
That was right. I know you're not arguing, but because I've seen the same comments, heard the same comments, my reaction is the same. How is it going to affect them? It's going to affect them by making them better. That's going to be the effect. But to the point you're making there, if LeBron comes back, you're describing a scenario there in which LeBron plays in a way that not only upsets the apple cart, but kind of knowingly upsets the apple cart, where he puts himself in front of, how the team operates or what's been successful and stuff like that. And then you see them start to lose. I get it's the premise that people have
where he wants to essentially just prove he's still LeBron.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's the premise that people have that LeBron can't handle this being someone else's team, for example, or can't handle being, out of the spotlight, or a number, even a number 2, even one as good as he is. I just don't buy it. I don't see why it would become a problem this year when it wasn't a problem last year. LeBron, I don't think, struggled with the idea that when the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic, as an on-court product, I don't think LeBron struggled on the floor to give Luka the space that he needed to be Luka Doncic. I don't think that was an issue. The Lakers and LeBron, I guess, have off-court stuff that they're, is always going to be a little bit tenuous, and we'll see how that goes going forward. But the on-court thing was pretty smooth from the moment it started. And more than anything, the Lakers playing in the way they do gives LeBron the thing that he said that he wanted over the offseason, which was to play on a competitive team, playing meaningful games in the spring. And so why would he do something? I don't see his ego as being the thing that goes out to screw that up.
I don't either. Just
I know
to be
you
clear,
don't. I'm talking to the people who
sure.
do.
I just want to make sure that part of it, because I raised this as a talking point because I know that it is a thing, and I've heard it in multiple places, multiple platforms, all that stuff. I agree with you. LeBron's return to this team, while it is going to be interesting to see how the dynamic works, just because if we're all being honest, LeBron is in a situation that he's never been in before. And how this it's one thing to cede some of that ground like LeBron did last year when Luka arrived. And we both said a lot over the half season last year with Luka and LeBron that it really was a big thing and a very helpful thing that LeBron made it very clear. Don't worry about stepping on my toes. I want you to be you. Like that, it was really important. The theoretical difference would be that was before not being offered a contract extension, before the summer of Luka, it really being announced that it's Luka's team, Austin's ascension, like all these other things. Which again,
let's hold this for a second, because I think that's the part that I think people are differentiating disruption versus drama, or maybe confusing those two things, and we'll get into it next.
Locked On Lakers is brought to you by DoorDash. The NBA season is heating up, just like the Lakers rising up the standings. DoorDash has the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long. Whether you're watching for the highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game night even better. DoorDash is the official on-brand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called the bag drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day. And you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. Talking about player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, stuff that you'll actually want. It's not just food. You can get everything from snacks to drinks to headphones, even socks delivered to you. DoorDash has everything covered for you for late night highlights, last-minute watch parties, or double OT fuel-ups. The Lakers have had a few for those lately. Or sports has in general. Next time someone that 3-hour Lakers Spurs. Next time someone goes off for 50, use the promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass. Plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only 50% off up to $10 the next day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash in your bag all season long.
So to the point we're making, and we'll get to some other things that are going on with the team. People, I think, are assuming any kind of disruption, which is going to happen. You're reintroducing LeBron James into a lineup that's played pretty well. It's going to necessitate a change in the starting lineup. And I think, you talk about Luka. I think the guy who really finds his space and role change the most is Reeves, because Luka is still going to do Luka stuff. And, while I think the idea is that he won't have to work as hard, and, you can have LeBron carry some of that burden, which I don't think will bother Luka, and I think will help everybody as they get, into the spring. I think from a game-to-game standpoint, it's Reeves that changes the most, and I think LeBron will settle into a place and a role where it's clear he's not quite the the lead dog, because he doesn't have the ball as much. I think he's going to embrace what we saw a lot at times last year, where he's moving away from the ball, where he's doing a lot of that stuff, a lot of his work early. It's far less taxing than it is to be the guy handling the ball, bringing it up. He's going to be finishing plays. Like, people, because it's LeBron, people want there to be drama, and there's not going to be drama. There will be some disruption. There will not be drama. And I am sorry to disappoint people in that regard. It's not coming.
Yeah, I think there would only really be drama if there would be a way for that drama to serve LeBron's best interests, and it simply doesn't. Especially with
in any way, there's
truly in any way, the team is playing really well. So, like I said earlier, if all of a sudden bringing LeBron back means they struggle, even if, again, anybody actually watching the games recognizes it's not really LeBron's fault, he's going to take the blame in the same way Ron Artest talked about when he joined the 2010 Lakers, the one that was looking to go back-to-back. And it was basically the exact same team, except Ron subbing in for Trevor Ariza, and Sun Yue, a.k.a. the Chinese Magic Johnson, was gone. But otherwise, exact same team. Artest talked about, I know I'm going to get blamed if we don't end up going back-to-back. I know it's going to be on me. And even if it really had nothing to do with Ron, same thing with LeBron here. So I think he recognizes that. He also, I think, is probably smart enough to realize getting to another team at this point in the season will be extremely complicated. So there's little that would come from disruption. And also, this team right now, we're going to talk about this anyway, is having so much damn fun. Why would he not want to just hop on, the SS fun time? Like, everyone's having a great time. Why wouldn't LeBron just want to join that?
All of this is based around an assumption that even if LeBron does the right thing, air quotes, it's begrudgingly, because there's no other, like, it just doesn't work for him to do the wrong thing in the way that he like, or he might just, be like excited to play basketball with Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and a team that is, won 7 of 9 in a brutal conference. Like, there is that possibility. Sure. Again, people just want the drama to be something that's there, and it's not going to be. And you talk about this the fun and the chemistry and all these things that the Lakers are clearly having, and it was, it's been obvious with how they play. They play very hard. Not to say they play perfectly, but they play very hard. They play, and not to get, steep in cliche here, but they play for each other in the way that coaches define that kind of thing and players define that kind of thing. That's how they play. It's a skillful brand of basketball that is combined with some physicality and grit that hasn't been really, I think, a consistent presence on this team. But it's not like they play, street ball, super physical, all that stuff, because they don't have any skill. They got plenty of skill too. Like, they're having a good time. The chemistry is really good. The new guys fit in really well, and it's making a tangible difference in how they play.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on off the court. They've been doing this thing. JJ talked about it after the win against San Antonio. It's called Pecha Kucha, which is essentially like teammates using slides and visual aids, letting teammates know more about them, like sort of these personal entries. Like, I think Luka just did one, and I think he talked about family and his car collection, and Luka organized the Porsche driving thing, which checks with car collection. Like, all All of these guys seem like they are genuinely enjoying each other. I think when you start playing for each other, it raises organically the accountability on the team. Like, it becomes easier to hold everybody else accountable if everybody's first instincts is to hold themselves accountable. Like Marcus Smart, after that mistake that he made with 1.2 seconds, stepping on a line, essentially rushing himself for no real reason on an inbound pass that could have cost the Lakers the game. While Marcus said, like, I thought the refs were maybe being a little bit overzealous, which kept in theme with the entire game that the refs were over officiating. He also said, man, I've been in the league 12 years. I can't make that mistake.
Right.
Like DeAndre Ayton has talked about in a good way, and this was reinforced by the Dodgers on the heels of their World Series championship, going back to back, being in attendance for, I remember it was either the Heat or the Spurs game, but DeAndre saying, like, man, this raises the pressure that I feel in a good way. Like, it gets ratcheted up because you see a city celebrating a championship. You want to be a part of that. And it raises your accountability and your sense of responsibility, but not in a way that feels overwhelming. It's in a way that I think is inspiring. Like, it makes you want to be the best version of yourself.
And, it is another one of these things. Like, you look around the league and it's not a given that it works this way. And JJ talked about it after the San Antonio game. Like, you can do things that kind of promote togetherness and connectedness and stuff. And, like, it doesn't always work that way. It doesn't mean guys dislike each other. And obviously the on-court results play a big role, but, like, look around the league. Like, they're not having fun in Memphis right now. They are not having fun in Dallas right now. These are not fun places to play basketball. And you can tell, if there's a really good measurement, I think, to tell whether or not this sort of culture of joy that the Lakers seem to be touting is genuine. And I'll tell you what my measurement is, and I'm curious if you agree. We'll do it next.
Locked on Lakers is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back. Hell yes, it is. And there is no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game or you want to ride a hot hand once the game's underway, FanDuel's got you covered. Live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. That, by the way, has been a big theme for the Lakers so far in 9 games. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It makes every game exciting, especially when your team, the Lakers, keep making that late push. Right now, FanDuel's giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your first game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Locked on Lakers is also brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I, Andy, we make decisions every day. But on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season, whether you're following the NBA, the NFL, or both, the NHL even. There's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere PrizePicks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. You all kinds of different games you can play, all kinds of different features, way to approach it. The new stacks feature, that's a game changer for a lot of folks. You can now pick more on Steph's points, threes, and assists in the same lineup. Plus, if one of your players leaves early with an injury, the injury reboot saves your lineup from a loss. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. So here's how I look at this. Because, look, you and I, we've been doing this for a little while. You're on 710 all the time still. And, we pop up on Spectrum. Like, for people who follow the Lakers in Los Angeles, we appreciate it. Many of them know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're out in the world. When people see us, I love it when it happens. They stop, they talk to us. We love that you guys listen to the show. Say hello if you ever see us. People stop me. Have been stopping me a lot over the last week or two, and they're excited and they like this team. They are enjoying watching this team as much as any sort of first couple weeks of any season that I can remember. And so that to me is a good sign. Like if people are texting us, people are stopping us and being like, hey, this is like really enjoying watching this team. You follow it on social. There's a really good chance that the players are enjoying themselves too. And because that comes through the screen, if you're watching in TV, if you're lucky enough to be in the arena, you can feel that when you're watching the Lakers play. And so that to me is what tells me like this is genuine. Now it's some of it's results based. Everybody's having a good time because team's winning, but I don't think all of it is. There's a style and a set of personalities and all this on this team that really just meshes together nicely.
Yeah, it is a likable group, and they're easy to root for, and they're even easier to root for when they're actually winning games. But the sense of fun, I think, becomes contagious. Like it's one of those work hard, play hard. It feels like when they're out there, like it's, as you mentioned earlier, not always perfect while they're out there, particularly defensively. Like there is a lot of offsetting some of the weaknesses that they have. And I think particularly on that side of the ball, the game against San Antonio and Wemby notwithstanding, there's like a certain ceiling that I think will be difficult to break through on a game in, game out basis. But it does not ever feel right now. And this is something I think fans always can recognize and they will always appreciate. When they lose, it will not feel like due to a lack of effort. It will not be because they don't care. It will not be because they take playing for the Lakers for granted. They take the regular season for granted. They take their station in life as millionaires many times over as professional athletes for granted. Like they seem to give a bleep while they're out there. And if fans see their players give a bleep and want to rep them as fans, rooting them on as well as they can, I think they enjoy that. And also, too, I think they're having a good time, and they recognize this upcoming road trip, this 5-game roadie that will be hopefully the longest they go without LeBron. They got a real opportunity to keep pushing their record up. These are the 5 games. Begins Saturday in Atlanta against the Hawks without Trae Young. They are 2-1 without Trae, although they did not exactly beat a murderer's row of opponents in those 2 games. Then they go to Charlotte against a Hornets team that's not good anyway, but won't have LaMelo Ball or Brandon Miller. OKC, this is obviously the big one. They won't have Jalen Williams, all-NBA Jalen Williams, but the guys who were out during their first loss, Alex Caruso, Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, likely will play in that game. The Pelicans, Zion might be back by then, which that might be the Lakers catching a break because they've only won games since Zion went out.
They're
so
awful.
Maybe Zion, they're terrible, and the vibes there do not seem particularly good either.
Add them to my list of places where they're not having that much fun.
No, they are not having fun at all. And then Milwaukee, second end of a back-to-back. That is a tough close, but I think 3 and 2 should both be the baseline goal, and I think imminently doable. You try to split one between OKC and Milwaukee, and it's worth remembering in the 2 games they played against Milwaukee last year, post-Luka trade, they were really good. They beat the Thunder once pretty handily and seemed on pace to do it again before Luka got egregiously ejected for a fun back and forth with a fan that a ref thought was about him. But they matched up well against OKC.
And I would say they match up better this year than last, just because they've added, that legitimate size in DeAndre Ayton. And so we'll be able to talk more about the road trip as it goes on. It's obviously a pretty long one, but the other thing to remember too, when they go to Atlanta, that's a home game. There are more Lakers fans in the crowd in Atlanta than there are Hawks fans. Charlotte often gets the same kind of thing. Like, they don't go, that's not a hostile building.
The greatest player in Hornets history is Kobe.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a bit of a homecoming for Dalton Connect, but aside from that, it's just these are not hostile buildings. Then they get to Oklahoma City, and it's a hostile building, and it's the kind of hostile building though that fires up a guy like Luka and stuff like that. So I mean, I agree with you, and I think 3-2 is realistic. You come back off of that trip, and you're still, if they did that, they would be 6 games over 500. You're starting, with a 10, an eighth of the season over or something like that, whatever it be. Like, you're starting to feel like, okay, what we're doing here is pretty legitimate. You have games at the end of that trip, with Utah. Like, there's some winnable stuff out there. As we close though, I will say this, like, the other part of this, because we mentioned Luka and thriving in this like atmosphere in Oklahoma City. The other reason that this team is so much fun to watch, and I think there is what Luka's doing. Like, I realize he's missed some games, but we knew last year that we weren't getting the full Luka experience. We are now. And, what's he averaging? 40, 11, and 9, I think it is. 41, 11, and 9. And in doing things in ways that are wildly entertaining. And we are getting that experience now. And it reminds me of other stretches where, as a Lakers fan, you just knew you had one of these guys that isn't just good, but really fun to watch and does special things every time he's on the court. And that gets Lakers fans excited, and that gets Lakers players excited to be on the floor with that guy.
I wanted to close with this and correct you when you said that we're getting the full Lakers Luka experience this year. I would argue we're actually getting the fuller, because the full version, the peak seasons with Dallas did not include Luka playing defense like this. It didn't include Luka in this type of conditioning. And it matters, I think, just because it's a better version of Luka. But if you want to talk about the things that inspire these guys to be the best versions of themselves, but also raise the accountability, it's Luka playing defense like this, and Luka just taking ownership of it and taking pride and putting that type of burden on himself. It's similar to what we talked about last year, that stretch where the Lakers were the best defense in the league for like 6 weeks or something like that. The number one factor above everything else was LeBron embracing it, because the minute LeBron did something like that, there is no excuse. There's no permission structure for anybody else not to play the best version of defense they can. When your star player does certain things or doesn't do certain things, it either creates permission structures or raises the accountability. Luka playing on both sides of the ball like this brings out inspiration, but also no, seriously, you better raise what you're doing too, because that's what our leader does.
And to wrap it back into where we started with LeBron, I actually think that is going to be the biggest. LeBron will take some of the heat and the burden off of Luka offensively, but I think actually the biggest place that the way that LeBron or that Luka's playing and the way that Reeves is playing, and the support they have from Ayton, and the start that Rui's off to as a shooter and all this stuff, I actually think what it's really going to do is allow LeBron to do significantly less offensively and be able to play defense at a higher level, much more aligned with what he did in that that stretch that you're talking about last year. And that's good. That to me is gonna be fun to watch him take the pressure off Luka defensively. So we'll see how that goes. Trip starts this weekend. Locked on Lakers on YouTube is where you can go hang out with over 37,000 subscribers. Do not forget to subscribe to the audio product, of course, whether that's on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We will see everyone after every game on this trip. Have a good weekend.